It's that time of year where you've seen photos popping up all over social media. Beautiful methane ice bubbles trapped in a frozen lake against a backdrop of mountains. They're breathtaking, unique, and hunting for them is a fun winter activity. If you want to learn when and where to see them, watch the rest of this video because there's not a lot of information available for those going without a guide. That's why I put together this video for you looking to head out on your own. We had set aside an entire day. From Sylvan Lake, it takes 2 hours to get to Abraham Lake, then 2 hours to spend time enjoying the lake, and then 2 hours drive home. But if you're coming from Edmonton or Calgary, you need to add another hour and a half on top of that. So know that it's going to be a significant drive. So we started off with a hearty breakfast, packed our car emergency winter kit, plus our lunch and the dog, because Harper loves hanging out with us. We packed our lunch and some other essentials. So what to bring? The first one seems obvious. Bring winter clothes that keep you warm. You'll also want to lay down on the ice to get better pictures, making snow pants and a winter jacket your best option. Proper winter boots, gloves, toque, and a neck warmer, along with some hand warmers, will allow you to spend time on the ice without worrying about frostbite. For ice safety, you need to make sure that you're wearing proper cleats. We already had some, but it was interesting. The very next day, while shopping, I saw some ice cleats that were sale at our local dollar store. So they are available for you to purchase. And if you don't have ice cleats, you're going to be stuck on the shore just looking and not being able to go out onto the ice to see the ice bubbles because you cannot see them from the shoreline. There's no way to know in advance whether the ice is snow covered or not. So also make sure you bring a shovel and a broom with you so that you're prepped to take off snow if you'd like to get a better view of those bubbles. While we drive to Abraham Lake, let's talk about some of the myths and misconceptions. The first one is that it's always unsafe to go on the ice of Abraham Lake. The second, the most common one, is that Windy Point is the best place to see the ice bubbles. That area has some of the least stable ice in the lake, with conditions changing on a daily basis. And third, we often hear that the methane bubbles are a hazard. It's usually a variation that they make the ice weak, that they could explode, or that they could catch on fire. There's enough people that have tried to light them on fire to say that it doesn't happen. This area sees quick changes of weather along with a variety of conditions depending on where you are. Even the short drive from Nordegg to Abraham Lake can make the difference between being in a storm and a sunny day. And also watch out for the wildlife because there's lots in the area. This was a herd of bighorn sheep out enjoying the salt along the roadside. We're getting close to our first stop. This is the Ice Bubbles parking lot to Cline White Goat Creek. There are many access points in that area, starting at the new parking lot south of Windy Point. So you're going to go through this mountain range and it's going to look familiar to you. Come around this corner and the very first parking lot on your left-hand side is where you're going to want to stop. One thing to note are the public washrooms at this site, which is a nice amenity to enjoy. It's here that I decided it was time to put on my snow pants, as this was our first stop of the trip. You can hear Harper in the background. She's so excited to get going. As I've already mentioned, first, wear proper ice cleats. Second, if you need to, a hiking pole or a strong stick will help with your balance and to check if the ice is solid. And finally, look around and choose your path accordingly. Walk on the rocks or clear ice, and whenever possible, avoid the snow-covered areas where you can't see what's underneath. Avoid going down areas that are too steep to walk down easily. They'll be even harder to get back up. We are the first stop for the Abraham Lake ice bubbles. I'm pretty excited. I've seen it a few years, but not at these different spots. So this one is the closest to Nordegg, and let's go check it out. Let's go see what they look like. The bubbles on the water are definitely worth venturing off the shore. That's where you'll find those deeper stacks of larger bubbles on turquoise ice. Ice thickness is probably the most obvious thing to consider. The recommendation is that to have at least 10 centimeters of ice when walking along or 13 centimeters when taking part in a group activity. On Abraham Lake, you can see how deep the ice is, by looking at the cracks and ice bubbles. When walking on the ice, stick to clear ice, which is the strongest. White ice is not as strong, but it's a great second choice. Gray ice, on the other hand, is the weakest and should be avoided. Another type of ice you want to approach with caution are pressure ridges. These happen mostly in areas where the lake is narrow, like we see near Windy Point. You'll often see them in a raised section of ice with multiple cracks. It's best to avoid these areas. Finally, another thing to take in consideration is the presence of rivers, creeks, and other water sources. Streams running beneath the ice can erode it from below, leading to variable ice conditions. The ice actually looks like it's cloudy, but what it is are the thousands and thousands of little tiny bubbles that are in lots of different layers on the ice. It's really cool. There are some spots where it's crystal clear and it looks like you're walking on water. It's so cool, but you can see the cracks in the ice where it has melted, and the lake actually decreases as the winter goes along, so you can see how that's been formed. It's actually really cool. I'm excited to go to the next spot and see if the bubbles look different at that location. Let's go check that out. There we go. See the little ice everywhere on the shore. Our next stop was just 2 minutes up the road to Abraham Slabs. Now, one thing to note about the Abraham Lake, it is a hydroelectric reservoir on the North Saskatchewan River. It's a common misconception that the level fluctuates up and down on a daily or weekly basis, depending on how much water the dam is releasing. One thing I really liked about this site was that it was a gentle incline down to the lake, and there was no one around. We had the place to ourselves. Look at that ice bubble formation right there. It was really cool. We just happened upon it, and you do have to do some searching while you're looking for the ice bubbles. They're not going to be visible right away. You are going to have to search the ice to find the different ice bubble formations, as they are unique at each location. I was thankful that I was in warm gear because I was able to lay on the ice and take some of these awesome photos. If you're enjoying this video about Abraham Lake, you might also enjoy the YouTube video I did about Nordegg, which is the closest community to this lake. We saw it in the summertime, so it's going to have a little bit different feel in the winter, but you can check out that video about Nordegg at the end of this video. Our third stop was at Cline Landing. It's often snow-covered, but it can be great, especially when the lake first freezes in December. The ice here is usually on the ground or over shallow water by January at this location. There is a road that provides access to the lake, but getting back up can be a challenge with icy conditions, so make sure you have a vehicle that has 4x4. We again had this place to ourselves. We did go midweek, so that definitely made a difference. But we were also thankful that there had been tours there ahead of us because they had cleared off the snow. We didn't have to do any searching. We just went for the spots where the snow had been brushed off. And the bubbles here were so many and big, just like the ones you see on Instagram. So I was pretty stoked to be able to see all these ice formations. Weather conditions change fast in Alberta, and they can go from one extreme to another even faster in the Abraham Lake area. The wind is a mixed blessing. The strong winds you experience are the reason why the lake is clear of snow all winter long. At the same time, the winds can make it more difficult to enjoy a day on the lake. So this was the place that had the biggest stacks of ice bubbles, and as you can see, there actually were some that had broken through. Now I'm going to show you just how big they are. I mean, they look big on the camera, but when my finger goes in, you're going to see just how tiny it was. But the methane provided a column all the way down to the ice level. So it was really quite fascinating to see it up close like that. And you can have that too if you follow the instructions. One of my favorite sites to go to is Explorenordegg.ca. It has all the information on Abraham Lake. We're going to show you how hard it was with the truck in order to get up. Now, we have 4x4, so it really wasn't that challenging, but I would not go down this road if you did not have a vehicle that could get back up, because this could have been a situation where we would have got stuck. So just an FYI for you, if you're going to take this path, if you don't have the type vehicle, walk down so you can still go down and enjoy the bubbles at this site. So we've gone to three stops along our way, and what we have decided to do is not to go to Preacher's Point, which is where most of the YouTube videos are going to tell you to go. The reason why, Nordegg Adventures, that is the one to go to at the beginning of the season, and we are into end of January already, and so we are skipping that and just showing you the first three on the route when you come from Red Deer or Rocky Mountain House heading towards Saskatchewan Crossing. So that was our adventure for the day. I am so excited to put together this video and show you all the things that we saw. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really hope you're enjoying the content that I'm creating, and so by giving me a thumbs up, that lets me know that you are enjoying it. Here's another view of the Ice Bubble Viewpoint parking lot, just to give you an idea from it as we head back towards Nordegg. And here is an awesome view of the lake. I mean, it's just gorgeous to drive along, whether you see it in the summer or winter, but the winter has those bubbles. And our way back, 2 hours later, that herd of Bighorn sheep were still on the highway enjoying the salt, not to be bothered by the cars driving by. So it was fun to see them a second time. My channel, I would love for you to subscribe to it. I am enjoying creating this content for you. Hopefully you are enjoying watching it. And with that, I hope to see you all next week. If you're still here at the very end of the video, I want to show you the Explorenordegg.ca website. If you type in Abraham Lake ice bubbles, you're going to scroll down the search, and there's the website. Now on this website, it has tons of information, and it's a great resource, so don't forget to use it. First, you're going to want to go and see what the ice conditions are. They give you updates on what the ice conditions look like, and it's done about every other week is what I found the information was updated on. Also, it's going to give you the ice conditions for each point, a location on the ice, which I found helpful. And then at the end, there is a map where you can head out on your own. It shows you the different locations and what to type into Google Maps if you weren't writing those down as we're doing the videos. So go to that site, learn their information, be prepared so that you can have a great time on the lake, because it was the perfect day. We just loved it. Anyways, hope you can too. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you all next week.